It's hard running a creative business. In this video, I'm sharing with you the one principle that will set you apart from other photographers and videographers. What is it? Professionalism. I am shocked by how many photographers I see that don't know how to send a proper email. They don't have systems when onboarding clients, and they don't ask for feedback after the projects are done. Today I'm sharing 4 ways you can be more professional with clients and keep them coming back for more business. My name is Chris Pieta, and I teach creative business and product photography. Professionalism. What should be common sense is often overlooked when running your creative business. This first thing is something that no one talks about: gathering feedback. You know how after you chat with customer support on Amazon or other websites, you get an email asking you to rate their performance? Well, you should be doing the exact same thing as a photographer. No matter how good you think you are, there's always going to be something that you can improve. You're going to have to leave your ego at the door for this one. I recently did a huge lifestyle shoot for a big brand. We had a bunch of models, we had me as a photographer, and I even hired a videographer for the shoot. After the shoot was done, I thanked everyone for coming out that day, and before they left, I asked them a question that surprised them. I asked them, what can I have done today for this to have been a better photo shoot for you? I wanted them to be brutally honest with me. One of the models had all positive things to say, and that was nice to hear. Another model told me that my direction needed some work and that I needed to be more engaged and playful during the shoot. Was I offended? No, I was happy to hear this feedback. It gives me something to work on for the next photo shoot. I'm always looking to improve my own process. The videographer that I hired told me that he's never heard anyone ask for feedback like that before, and it surprised me. I just assumed that it was common sense, and that's part of the reason I'm making this video. If I'm always trying to improve myself and my competition isn't, then they're gonna get left behind. But because you're watching this video, you now know my secret, and you can implement this into your own business. When working with clients that are paying you, you better be asking for feedback as well. With my retainer clients, every checkup call that I do, I'll ask them for feedback on what it's been like to work with me. I ask them what I can improve in the process. And usually they only have good things to say. And sometimes they'll even admit that they feel like they're the ones dropping the ball. But then there's other times when the client would have wanted the process to be a little bit different, or they had other expectations. I take note of this and I try to implement it into my business as best as I can. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback. It's going to set you apart from other photographers and from all of your competition. The second thing we're talking about today is professionalism in emails. Email is going to be the main way that you communicate with clients. From that first cold outreach to honing in on that project details, email is going to be your primary form of communication. The first thing that most people get wrong is that they don't use a G Suite email address. What's G Suite? It's when your email ends with your website rather than gmail.com. You need to have an email address that looks professional. pietaproductions@gmail.com looks like an amateur. It looks like I just started my business. It looks like I don't want to pay the $6 a month to have a professional looking email. Chris@pietaproductions.com, on the other hand, is professional. It's respectable. It looks like I have an established business. Go get a G Suite email address. It's the easiest way to appear more professional. When you're actually sending emails, never be rude. I don't care how annoying the client is or how many revisions they want. It's your job to maintain composure and never be rude. Try and act like a decent human being. When you send cold emails to leads, you need to be respectful to them as well. Yes, you can follow up until you get a no, but once you get that no, stop emailing them. Not only is it unprofessional, it's also illegal with the canned spam laws we have. Now, when you have a client, email is the way you communicate about projects and deliver content. Email isn't about becoming their friend. It's you learning more project details, delivering content, etc. When you send an email, make sure there's always some sort of ask at the end of it. Are you trying to learn whether they want colored backdrops or a marble kitchen scene? Be sure to actually ask this in the email. People will write novels in their email only to never ask the question. Keep your emails as short as possible and ask what you need. Are you negotiating a rate? Well, instead of just saying, I can't go lower than $2,000 for this project, say, I can't go lower than $2,000 for this project. Does $2,100 sound fair? That first email doesn't warrant a response. This next email, however, asks them specifically, is this a rate that they're willing to pay? If you don't actually ask the question, don't complain if they don't respond. You always want to have a clear action item at the end of your emails. Okay, next up, let's talk about client onboarding. When a client signs on to work with you, what's the first thing that happens? What are the first 3 steps that happen? You can pause the video here and tell me. If you didn't have an answer to this, it's time to get a systemized approach to client onboarding. In my company, the same thing happens every single time, and it's optimized for a smooth customer experience. Once a client signs a proposal in PandaDoc, they immediately get an automated welcome email thanking them for trusting us with the project. This immediately sets the tone for the project. They're not going to be waiting around for a day to hear from me after they've signed the proposal. A professional email immediately welcomes them as a new client. Additionally, the client gets an onboarding form from me. This asks questions like, what are some examples that you like? What are the project goals? What have other photographers messed up in the past that we can improve upon? The client sees progress is being made on the project they just agreed to work on, and that comes off as extremely professional. Next, they receive an upfront deposit invoice from me, as well as an option to book a prep call so that we can be on the same page going into the project. On the prep call, we ensure that all the questions are answered and they feel like they're in good hands. In today's competitive freelance environment, all these little things add up. And even if you're not the best photographer out there, by being professional, you'll stand out among the rest. It's hard enough landing a client, so you should do everything you can to keep them coming back for more. By the way, if you don't have any clients yet and want to learn how to get your first one, I have a free training on my website that walks you through this. This free video training walks you step by step on how to get your first client. Link for that is down below. Okay, we talked about feedback, we talked about emailing, we talked about systemizing the onboarding process. What's number 4? Stick to your word. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. This means if you give them a 3-day turnaround time, you stick to those 3-day turnaround times. If you promise them a mood board within 24 hours of signing a contract, you deliver on that promise. Sticking to your word usually isn't hard. It takes a little bit of effort on your part, but it means everything to the client. It's common advice in the entrepreneurial space to take on more projects that you can handle, or to take on things you might not know how to do exactly. This is fine advice. I've accepted stop motion projects before I knew how to do them really well. I've accepted lifestyle shoots without ever having done one. And what did I do? I ensured that I delivered on my promise. I planned out every detail on that lifestyle shoot and rehearsed it in my head before it happened. I learned stop motion from YouTube and I did take after take until I was happy with the final result. I stuck with my word, even though I didn't know how to do those things when I gave my word. And if for whatever reason you promise something to a client and you mess up and there's no way you can deliver on that promise, well, my friend, you need to make it right. Offer them a free reshoot, offer them an extra 10 free photos. Whatever it is, make it right. If you can implement these 4 things into your creative business, I guarantee you'll be able to make more money and help more clients. My name is Chris Pieta, and I will see you in the next one.